And now, live from the Blazing Press Studios in the tundra regions of North America, it's Late Night with Robert.
All right, guys, we'll be live in just a few minutes. Hold tight. Just doing a few back-end things right now. Get ready. Very important breaking news. Very important breaking news. Make sure you share the feed everywhere you can. Social media, on your Facebook pages, Twitter pages, forums, everywhere you can. We'll be live with you in just a moment. Oh boy, we got some big news. Very big news coming. What in the world is happening? Is this the beginning of the end? The beginning of the end may be upon us, guys. Hold tight. Okay, guys, what's happening? I know this kind of cuts off quick, but hey, what's going on, guys? Blazing Press here once again on YouTube, breaking down the news for you. One major news event at a time. We are definitely seeing and witnessing some major unfolding news in the world that is just, I believe, historic. And is it going to be, how is this history going to unfold if there is going to be anyone to look back on it after what's coming, what seems to be, an orchestrated event that will depopulate the planet. Now, when you go back to the Deagle report, for those who don't know what the Deagle report is, you might want to do a little research on that. It talks about the United States being, in the year 2025, depopulated by about 300,000 people. Now, this isn't a conspiracy. It is a government-connected website that researched, and you can go back and look at the research on this. They're no longer on this. They don't have it up anymore, but it was a legitimate statistic. And in line with all these prophecies, ancient prophecies for that matter, some of them ancient, going all the way back to the Essene community of the Qumran, the Essenes of the Qumran community. We're talking about the times before Christ. They predicted that the year 2025 would see the beginning of the end with the advent of the Messiah, right? The Jews actually are hailing, many of these Hasidic Jews are looking to Donald Trump as the Messiah, who is going to help them reestablish not just the capital and their legitimacy as a state, but also their third temple. Not to mention the greater Israel by expanding their borders according to the biblical narrative of what they were to inherit from God. And this is why we see all the turmoil now in the Middle East. But is this truly a covenant with many, as Daniel stated, that would be broken? Is there going to be a grand betrayal in our future here with Israel? Not to mention the American people and the MAGA movement. The MAGA movement's feeling a little butthurt right now because things don't seem to be as they thought, which we could have told you would have happened, was going to happen. Some of the appointments and some of the things that are being said don't seem to be lining up yet. Now, it's not outwardly in your face yet because it's going to be a slow reveal. As time marches on, you will begin to see more and more of what the real agenda is. And it is really all theater at that. WWE at its best. Donald Trump is a great marketer, great deal maker. He'll make a deal with the devil if it's a good deal. As long as he promotes his agenda. And is that really your agenda? Is it really him standing in the way of you, taking the slings and the arrows? Or is it some other agenda that we were sold a bill of goods? So we were sold, how do they say that? Anyways. Well, we're going to get into what's going on with the news here because there's some big stuff going down right now. I've been looking at some of the things that are happening with this fog. Now, they're saying this crazy, weird fog that's being chronicled all over social media now. It happened in England. It's happening in other areas now in the United States. They're saying this fog has a smell to it, and it's not normal. It actually is like particles covering the skies. It's an unnatural type of thing, they're saying. I don't know if you've been watching, but is there some agenda with this as well to try to keep people from looking into the heavens to seeing the drone activity? Is it to cover something else that's going on? Where is it coming from? I showed you the video. You can go back in my YouTube videos here just in the last 2 days of that strange anomaly off the coast, the eastern coast. I think it was right above Florida, maybe right there in, I don't know, maybe right near the Carolinas. You can see out in the ocean, it looks almost like some kind of massive volcanic activity going off where you see this huge cloud being born out of one little point. There's two points. And this thing is just emitting a massive cloud that's covering the whole East Coast. What is that? What is that? I don't know. It's very strange. Maria Plush says that the fog here a couple of days ago was dark gray and it was strange looking. Maria Plush, where are you at? Where are you at, by the way? A lot of people have been talking about this all over it's not just been in England. It's been here in the United States as well. People are saying that it smells funny. It has a funny, like, chemical smell to it. They're feeling nauseous and sick. Has anybody been experiencing that at all in their region, in their area here, at least here in the United States? And if you're in other parts of the world, you're watching this, let us know in the comments. Johnny Z says, my church is sick. Johnny Z. God, that sounds familiar. Johnny Z. Oh, that was Johnny D. I knew a chatter a while back. Johnny D. It was Johnny D. It wasn't Johnny Z. Yeah, it's an unnatural fog. It's not a normal fog. People are saying they say it smells funny and it looks like particles, and they're not really exactly sure what it is. It's like a chem fog. Yeah, instead of a chemtrail, it's a chem fog. It's been happening the last few days. A lot of people are sick around your area. Where's that at? You're immune to fog. That's good. Well, anyway, let me go through some of this, and I'll kind of chronicle this with what I'm seeing on the news here and some of the feeds, which I think is very interesting, especially at the time that we're in here now. We had fog here today too, where we're at. We actually had a strange fog here too, where I live. And we don't normally see fog. In the last 2 days, we did have some strange fog, which I thought was weird. Because normally where we're at, it's very cold and snowy, and it's very usually clear. Or if it happens to be warmer, it usually rains. But we did have a strange fog. Are people losing their minds? Maybe people are losing their minds. Maybe people are just freaking out. People are like, it's winter. What do you expect? There's fog. Somebody said, fog in London? You're kidding. London is known for fog, isn't it? Wah, wah. You always see those shows where they're out there walking on the piers or the pier of London, and there's like all this fog. Some of those old monster movies. Doesn't it usually happen in London or something? But anyway, so here's what it says. And I can show you guys some of the footage too. We're going to go through some of the footage, and we're going to talk about some other things as well. So just stay tuned on that. We're just going to kind of look at the fog stuff right now. We're going to talk a little bit about bird flu. Lots of news coming out about that, and it looks very much like they've been preparing for this for quite some time. We've been talking about bird flu for a while, but I knew something was coming and fixing to come with this avian flu for about a year now, at least a year. And those who've been following my channel, you know that I've been telling you to get ready by getting chickens. I told you, get chickens. I said, chickens are going to be, this is the statement I made at least a year and a half ago. Chickens are going to be laying golden eggs. Think about that. Chickens are going to be laying golden eggs. So if you really thought that chicken eggs were going to go up in price because of some kind of an event, which just happens to be going down right now, well then let's just say eggs go up to $2 an egg. You can't even find them. Or maybe they ban them altogether. This is ushering in the you will eat the bugs era. You will eat crickets and maggots and everything else that we make for you, and you will like it. You will eat nothing real and be happy. You will own nothing and be happy. You will eat the bugs and you will be happy. But are the people of the world going to go along with this? Well, I think what's going to end up happening is they're gonna push the agenda psychologically through a trauma-based compliance. They're going to do it the hard way. We wanted to do it the easy way, but you rose up in rebellion, so now we must do it the hard way. And so how is that hard way? Well, like I said, I have a feeling it's going to be some kind of trauma event that's going to shock the world, shake the world to its core, causing them to call out for their saviors, anybody to save them, because obviously the majority of the people of the earth don't trust in the Lord. They don't put their trust in God. They don't know that the Lord God Almighty and the prophetic words of the scriptures are true, because it has chronicled everything that we're witnessing right now very clearly. And so what's going to happen? People are going to call out for their man-made saviors. They're going to be looking for the help of the arm of the flesh. They're going to be looking to the arm of the flesh. And what is that? Politicians promising the world. And many of these are dark, very dark individuals that are highly occultic in their worldview. And, who knows, maybe colluding like Jack Parsons did with people like Aleister Crowley. You know who Jack Parsons was? He's kind of like a modern-day Elon Musk. And you do a little research on Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard and their collusion to bring about the Child of Babylon. You'll find some interesting things there. We chronicle a lot of that stuff on our Patreon page. If you want to become a patron, we go through a lot of that in-depth dive. But anyways, let's get back to the fog. So they're saying that people all over America are experiencing heavy fog. Everyone is wondering what the odds of this happening right now are. What is it? They don't want people looking up at the sky during this drone and orb situation? Is that what it is? Los Angeles, middle of the day, fog. Oklahoma, 12 noon, can't see anything. Massachusetts, Missouri, and other states, the fog smells different and burns your eyes, quote unquote. Wisconsin, 3:30 in the afternoon, and you can't see anything. Also Minnesota. Now, maybe this is a coincidence that all this unusual fog is happening all over the country. At the same exact time, they don't want anyone looking up at the skies with this drone and orb situation that's happening right now. What do you guys think? It says there are many logical atmospheric explanations for heavy fog, but is all this just too coincidental? People online are literally freaking out. You've got all kinds of people posting these videos of this fog. Here's a few more videos. Let's see. Strange product smells like chemicals and is allegedly making people ill. Don't you just love geoengineered weather? There are 2 days left in 2024, and the psyops just keep on coming. They're calling it FogVid 24. FogVid 24. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these videos. Let's take a look at some of the videos. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, let's go for it. FogVid 24. Instead of COVID, it's FogVid. FogVid 24, they're calling it. Now, if you've noticed, I've kind of rearranged my camera system here, so I'm not looking in the same direction. I'm still trying to get used to it. But here we go. Let's take a look at what the people are saying.
Looks like it's conclusive. FogVid 24 is a real thing. The previous video's going viral. If you go and read the comment section, everybody's saying they were completely fine. They didn't feel anything coming on. But then as soon as they went out in this fog, whatever it is, they got a sore throat. They had to go to bed. They couldn't sleep. They were bunged up. They had migraines. They lost all their energy. And not only...
Okay, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, I just remembered now. When all this fog was... We saw the fog 2 days ago. Honey, was it about 2 days ago? Honey, was it 2 days ago when we saw the fog? 10-4. 1, 2, 3. I saw
it today.
You saw it today, but wasn't it the other day, like 2 days ago?
I don't know.
Anyways, I had a sore throat back then too. Remember I told you I had a sore throat? Was it like 2 days ago? I'm the only one that usually goes out Sorry about that, guys. So I wasn't even on I had my mic off. I am so sorry. Okay, so what happened was, is I had a sore throat too during our little fog issue here. I was just confirming with my wife. I thought I was still on. Sorry about that. I wanted you to hear what she said. So we talk on our walkie-talkies here because we're a little distance away, and when I'm doing something over here, I usually just keep in touch. But I was confirming with her that this fog that we saw, there was fog today, but there was a lot of fog the other day. And I remember when I saw that fog, I didn't really think too much of it because it wasn't really a big deal yet. But in the last 2 days online, it's been going viral. But I do remember I had a sore throat. I had like a little sore throat. And it didn't go anywhere. I was like, oh no, I don't want to get sick. Gosh, I don't want to get sick. You know, this is the way it usually starts. It kind of starts down here. But people are saying online that they're getting sore throats. So when they're out in this fog. So I'm kind of wondering now, that's what made me just go, what? That's right. I did have a little sore throat, but it didn't turn into anything. But maybe I've been nanobotted. Maybe they've nanobotted us all. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I just posted. It's the last video that I posted. I uploaded it here on YouTube. You have to go check out that video. That video is absolutely crazy with the technology that the intelligence agencies are talking about and how they're already using it. But if they wanted to use it for other nefarious and or, you know, they're talking about killing people, literally. You have to go watch this video. This is an official video that's coming from High Level. And they talk about the different technologies and how they can spray it and aerosol it. And they're talking in the applications of war as well. And compliance and bringing people into compliance and what it can do to your physical body and your brain and everything. You got to go look at this video. In light of what's going on here, it just kind of makes all sense and it blows my mind. You got to go look at this. So when you get off this feed, go find that video. And I just uploaded it today. There's only one upload, I think. And in fact, I'll play it right here. Why don't I just play it? Well, let's go through these videos. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through these videos and then I'll play it, okay? So stay right here. You don't got to go anywhere. I'll play it right here. Let's listen to see what the people are saying first. All right, here we go.
They had migraines, they lost all their energy, and not only them, everyone in the household. There's mums reporting on it saying all the kids are ill. We've got people in Kentucky, we've got people in Sweden, we've got people in Finland, all reporting the same thing. The fog has made them sick. And you know, it's scenarios like this that always have an adverse effect. Whatever they're doing in the skies, whatever they're spraying, whatever this fog is, they're obviously doing it for a reason, but it is going to wake people up. People have had enough. They're sick of being poked, they're sick of being prodded, they're sick of poison in the air and poison in the food, poison in the milk, poison in the minds. We're being pummeled in more ways we can imagine to demoralise us over a period of time, so when things get to a critical point and everyone's screaming out for a saviour, the government's going to be there, but they were the ones that created the problem in the first place.
He said the same thing I did. The saviors. They're looking for the saviors. I didn't even see this yet. I haven't seen any of these videos yet, but here we go. Here's some more.
There seems to be a situation developing. This is actually affecting multiple people across different states, starting from the East Coast. And what people are posting and coming forward and claiming is this weird fog that's blanketing them. But the weird thing about it is it looks different, it smells different. It's actually hurting their nose, eyes, and throat. Take a look at these next 4 videos and let us know, are you or have you seen this mysterious fog?
I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it went from snow, rain, cold to 50 degrees and fog. Now, this is the exact type of shit that I be talking about when it comes to this geoengineering and how they alter in the atmosphere and they're fucking with the ozone layer and they're obscuring the fucking vision of the sky.
The fog tonight? What the fuck? Okay then. Holy shit.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! What in the world? This is creepy! All right, let's look at some more.
Okay, I am not one for conspiracy.
All right, I can barely hear this dude. So let me see. I'm gonna have to raise his volume manually on my end here. Let's raise this up here to let's say just say 9 here. Okay, let's see if this works.
Okay, I am not one for conspiracy theories, but I've been seeing these videos about fog. Okay, everyone gets fog, right? But they're saying how bizarre the fog is. And so I'm thinking to myself, and this is just maybe 10 minutes ago, I'm like, yeah, fog. Okay. I'm in Los Angeles area. We get some, fog once in a while, but I can't see anything past my property. What the fuck is this? What?
What? It's like crazy. What the heck? It's not like what's weird about it is it's happening everywhere. That's what's weird. Are people losing their minds or what, man? Is this like hysteria? Is this like
now,
massive?
Again, fog. It's fog. But this is some thick fog.
thick doo-doo.
Kind of eerie.
Okay, so that's another one. Let's look at this one.
God. Everybody's talking about this fog, and I was like, yeah, it's been kind of foggy, but I mean, it's been raining and shit, and I haven't really been thinking about it, But man, it's 12 o'clock, noon, in Oklahoma, and look at the fucking fog, man. What the fuck?
I'm trying to be like Strange Outer Limits or The Twilight Zone. Do 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 do. Don't.
Here in Minnesota and Wisconsin for the last 4 days has just been incredible. In fact, this is probably the least fog we've had.
It's 3:30 in the afternoon, and all of Minneapolis just has this deep, foggy, kind of post-apocalyptic hellscape feel to it.
Post-apocalyptic hellscape. Did she say post-apocalyptic hellscape? Is that what she said? Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, we already saw this guy.
I am not one.
All right, we saw that guy already. Let me see.
Guys.
Okay, I am not.
Fog.
Okay. All right, so I already got those guys. Okay, so there's more. There's more, I think. Oh, wait. No, you just posted that twice. Okay, so it's just a double post. Gotcha. Okay, so post-apocalyptic hellscape. Oh, man. So, okay, so here's the video. Let's post this video. I'm going to post you that video, and you got to listen to this. Now, this is highly technical kind of verbiage or jargon. I don't know if you would say it's jargon, but just listen to what this guy is saying here. Oh, Lord. Let me find it here really quick. Is this it? Make sure I got the right file here.
Possibility to use
Yeah,
some
this
form
is
of
it.
directed energy to affect physiology peripherally and also to affect the physiology and health of
Okay, so this is talking about a lot of different technologies that are being utilized by governments around the world. This technology that the average person, you know, the average citizen in the world probably knows nothing about. But they're now starting to get, you know, trickles of information that are now being leaked out, just like the whole disclosure of aliens is now starting to leak out. You're starting to realize how much technology that we don't know about that our governments hold and are actually using, and many times using against us. When you see this and you really sit back and think, don't get distracted. Listen to what this guy is saying. He's talking about kill, and it's insanity. It is madness. It is evil to the highest heavens. This is like listening to the devil talk. I'm sitting here listening to a demon describe the technologies and how they're going to use them against people, or they're already, he even said they're already using them. But they're not using them nefariously yet. But just sit and listen. Listen to this. Absolutely insanity. Let me just post this here. Let me get it down here really quick. Okay, here we go. Get ready. Get ready to have your mind blown.
use some form of directed energy to affect physiology peripherally and also to affect the physiology and health of the brain. I can create small robotic units, controllable robotic units at the nanoscale, and that these too can be aerosolized to create a nanoswarm of biopenetrable materials that you cannot see, that are able to integrate themselves through a variety of membranes, mucous membranes, and wherever, mouth, nose, ears, eyes, can be then uptaken into the vascular system to create clumping, can affect the vascular system of the brain, or can directly diffuse into the brain space, and these can be weaponized. Agents that will either change individuals' thoughts, vulnerabilities, volatility to violence and aggression, or incur morbidity, dysfunction, and or mortality in such a way as to then mitigate the engagement altogether. The brain is and will be the 21st century battlescape in many ways. End of story. It's not just a question of trying to figure out what makes the brain tick in the way it's built. It's can we get in there to affect the ticking and talking, and by affecting the way that brain is built and the way it functions, influence in ways that are kinetic and non-kinetic the attitudes, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, activities, and relative vulnerabilities and predispositions. The more I know about you and the more I know about the way your brain works as individuals, groups, communities, and even populations, the more I can utilize non-kinetic means such as informational means of narratives, iconographies, semiotics, to influence your emotions and your behaviors. We can do this subliminally through computer images. We can do this more liminally through the types of engagements, interactions that we engage through psychological operations and informational operations. We can go further than that as well. We can also utilize these interventional technologies in those ways that may able to directly affect the brain. Probably the one that you've heard about most recently, most contemporaneously in the literature, is the possibility to use some form of directed energy to affect physiology peripherally and also to affect the physiology and health of the brain. And there are a number of countries that have developed initiatives and agenda towards developing just these types of things, the United States included. The more we understand the specificity of the brain on a very granular level, the more we're able to derive and develop particular types of drugs that not only can enhance and optimize the performance of our people, but can also be used to mitigate, militate, and in some cases manifest profound morbid changes in their people. In other words, against a hostile other. We can go further to implant certain brain-machine interfaces. These are many of the DARPA programs that you may hear of now. The idea here is to put minimal-sized electrodes in a network within a brain through only minimal intervention to be able to read and write into the brain function in real time, remotely. The United States is not alone in such effort. So, how then can we use these elements as weapons? And we can do that in a number of ways. We can militate their behaviors and their thoughts in some ways as to make them more amenable to what we do, the idea of positive weaponology. Or we can in fact mitigate and in some cases completely nullify their capability, will, or engagement to fight. If we combine those two definitions into one, what we find is those agents that will either change individuals' thoughts, vulnerabilities, volatility to violence and aggression, or incur morbidity, dysfunction, and or mortality in such a way as to then mitigate the engagement altogether. So in other words, this can also be weaponized against others. And this is where we get into the idea of novel neuroweapons. Once again, this is not necessarily new, but the momentum of this dimension of the field has accelerated as a consequence of increased understanding of the brain and increased capability to develop tools and techniques to access and affect the brain. We see in-close neuropharmaceuticals and organic toxin. More specifically, perhaps, might be targeting individuals on a level that allows either direct attribution or covert engagement with non-attribution. I could also incur much broader type of ripple effects. And one of the ways I could also do that is with what's called high morbidity neuromicrobiologic agents. It's a real fancy way of saying neurobugs, but high morbidity neurobugs. I may not want to kill a lot of people. In fact, arguably, I may assume what is sometimes referred to as the Sailor-Malin mantra. I can use a particular bug that I may be able to now modify through the use of gene editing technique that is ubiquitously available and fairly easy to use to take a bug that was previously relatively benign and non-pathogenic and make that bug virulent, pathogenic, dangerous. And then what could I do? I could introduce that bug in key sites, but I'd want to make sure that at least part of the symptomatic constellation was not only neurological, was profoundly psychological. Agitation, debilitation, sweating, stomach problems, sleeplessness, cardiac problems, things that are what we call top-down neurological in their effect, brain to body and body to brain in the bottom-up cascade. I can disrupt an individual from the level of their cell to their system and disrupt individuals on a variety of levels, from individuals all the way up to the social fabric. And that social fabric may go even further. It may be geopolitical. We can even go further. One of the newest developments is that nanoparticulate matter can be stabilized for distribution. If you're not aware of what nanoparticulate matter is, it's that matter which exists on a scale of 1 × 10⁹ very, very small, smaller than a cell. And we can manufacture materials that have discrete properties that can be controlled by virtue of bioengineering and their physical chemistry. To auto-aggregate, to be able to aggregate in particular areas based upon their biological and or chemical sensitivity. But now we go one step further. Most recently, just a few weeks ago, it was announced that you could then aerosolize nanomaterials. And go one step further, I can create small robotic units, controllable robotic units at the nanoscale, and that these too can be aerosolized to create a nanoswarm of biopenetrable materials that you cannot see, that can penetrate all but the most robust biochemical filters, that are able to integrate themselves through a variety of membranes, mucous membranes, and wherever, mouth, nose, ears, eyes, can be then uptaken into the vascular system to create clumping, can affect the vascular system of the brain, or can directly diffuse into the brain space, and these can be weaponized. And they can be done in such a level that their presence is almost impossible to detect, and as such, the attribution becomes exceedingly difficult to demonstrate. But let's keep going. Could I also utilize a whole host of devices to be able to affect individuals close in, for example, during interrogations, during social engagements, during human terrain team engagements, or more remotely, in a room, in a theater, in an airplane, in a bus, in a store, in a mall? The answer is increasingly yes. The idea here is can we utilize neuroscience and technology? And if the answer is yes, we can, should we? And if the answer there is we already are, and there are some domains and dimensions by which use should be advocated, for example, non-lethality, least harm, doing less harm than other forms of interventions and engagements that are currently in use, being able to mitigate individuals' capacity or willingness to engage in volatility. In other words, improving the capacity for individuals to gain capability to get along. Well, perhaps there's some value there. Is the possibility to use some form of directed energy to affect physiology peripherally and also to affect the physiology.
Okay, so then he tries to moralize it. He tries to moralize at the end as if, yeah, we're not really wanting to use this in a harmful way, at least at this point, unless, of course, we're at war. Or, does that mean that it's not going to actually get out of its intended zone. I mean, still you're using it in a nefarious way. But this is like displaying everything we can do with these technologies, and the way they get them into people's bodies and stealthily kill people, and nobody would even know about it, but obviously we don't want to do that, but hey, isn't it great technology? It's like, I mean, it's just absolutely, you're talking about nano swarms. What is a nano swarm? Well, it would be maybe like fog, maybe, this fog could be nano swarms, for all we know. Have you ever heard of smart dust? Smart dust has been around for quite some time. Or at least the technology has been talked about quite often. Let me just see if I can kind of talk about a little bit about what smart dust is. It says here that smart dust is a network of tiny sensors that collect and transmit data from their environment. And so what they do is they spread this dust out, and this is what they think a lot of the chemtrails is all about. People were always talking about how people talking about chemtrails were crazy, conspiracy nuts. Well, it comes to find out that it's all legitimate programs that are happening in our government and that are being done for the purpose of geoengineering our planet. Supposedly, it's trying to save us from global warming and everything else that's happening by coating the atmosphere with certain types of, metals and things. I think barium is one of them. Barium and I forget the other ones, but if you do a little search on smart dust, it says it's a network of tiny sensors. They're almost in the nanoparticle kind of realm, and they collect and transmit it. So if you got these nanoparticles all in your soils, in your body, and they're basically tracking everything that has to do with these nanoparticles, like little nanobots that form, who knows, like a grid where they can just focus in and say, well, there's life here, there's life here, there's life here, there's an animal here, there's a bear here. It's all inside of the actual tissues of the people that are in that environment because they've spread it out all over the whole planet. This is what I've understood it to be, but it says here smart dust sensors are about the size of the grain of sand, or 1/1000th the size of a millimeter. Smart dust sensors can detect and measure many things, including light, temperature, vibration, magnetism, chemicals, air pressure, humidity, movement. Now, this is not nanoparticles. Obviously, this is dust, like dust, but they say it's the size of a small piece of, sand. But it says smart dust sensors communicate wirelessly to send data to a larger system for storage and analysis. Smart dust sensors can be used for a variety of applications, including environmental monitoring, surveillance, biomedical applications, automotive applications, LOT applications. I have no idea what that is, LOT. Monitoring the temperature, humidity, and impact of consumer electronics, monitoring the temperature, humidity, and impact of meat, produce, and dairy products. The concept of smart dust was proposed by the UC Berkeley electrical engineering professor Chris Peister in 1992. The military later funded research to develop smart dust sensors for battlefield surveillance. And they also have these little and he talks about these swarms, these nano swarms that you can't even see. So it's not just dust and particles, it's nanoparticles that are being emitted as an aerosol, and you would never know. You would never know you're breathing them in. You would never know that you're getting some genetically engineered pathogen, possibly. I mean, who knows what they're putting. The way he talks about it is they can manipulate your physical body, they can manipulate your consciousness and affect your cognitive mind as well, not just your physical body. But this is just absolutely evil, totally, completely evil stuff on a level that we can't even fathom. Not to mention that it's all being connected to the AI of things, or the Internet of Things, with 5G. And this is really what Elon's, not just the space program, but the Starlink is all about. They want to blanket the planet with high-speed internet so that they can hook everything up no matter where you're at. And it'll just connect to your MAC address if that happens to be in your physical body, whether you know it's there or not. It could actually be there. People are saying that after the devil juice was given to everybody, they say 5 billion people took it. I don't know if that's true, but that's a lot of people that got the jibby jab. And you think about that 5 billion people that might have nanoparticles, because really when people went to go look at the insert for informed consent, there was nothing in the paper. It was an empty piece of paper. So what was in it? They're saying that people have MAC addresses, and if you got the application on your phone, you can go to the areas and open up that app and you'll see MAC addresses, right? Well, there's a lot of things that have MAC addresses, different hardware, not just your computers, but other things that can have MAC addresses. So if you're in an area where there's a lot of electronic equipment, you're going to see MAC addresses. But what happens when you're out in the middle of nowhere, let's just say a graveyard, and you happen to be walking around picking up MAC addresses in the ground of people that have recently died? Is it because they were buried with their favorite electronic device? Or is it because they might have something in their bodies that actually are still emitting, signals? Because people have said that they've gone out in the middle of nowhere to test this with people that have received the jibby jab, and they come back with people that are walking around without any devices, without any cell phones, without any kind of electronic device, and they're picking up signals of the people that are there. And that's technology that you can find on patents. Patents? Yeah, that have to do with the jibby jab and what's in it. Is it the mark? You gotta wonder. But anyways, okay, so let's get into the other information. And I won't go into the deep dive on that because there is a lot of information that surrounds that topic, and we've talked ad nauseum about it. But get connected to our Patreon page, as we are going to continue doing the deep dive in the deep diving bell that goes deep, deep, where the pressures are great and only the strong can survive, or the brave. You want to get in the deep dive bell? This is Robert's bell. Robert Bell, late night, west of the Rockies. Wildcard line. No, actually, it is a bell. Have you ever heard when those deep divers would go down in the olden days, before they had the pressurized suits, they would go down in a bell? A big, massive bell would take them down deep, and they would have the air pocket inside the bell. That's what I'm talking about. You want to go a deep dive with us? Well, there's a lot of pressure in there, so you better be ready. If you're only the strong can survive and only the brave will go, will they dare to tread, you're going to be hanging out. So get in, get in on with what we're doing on the Patreon page. You can join free, but the deep divers aren't free. They're actually supporting what we're doing and making sure that we get this message out to all those who are still on milk. These are the meat eaters, I would say, a little bit more. So not all. I'm just saying they're helping us in many ways to get the meat and the milk out. We're doing both, milk and meat. And this is not GMO'd, by the way. This is real, organic, spiritual food. And if you don't know what milk and meat is, it's because you don't know what your Bible teaches. You need to get into your Bible. We're talking biblical terminology here, and a little bit of you got to kind of know a little bit about the background of what we're talking about. If you don't, it's okay. You'll catch on the longer you hang around. All right, so let's go and move on. Let's see what else we got here. We're going to be also talking about the bird flu thing. Let's see if we should go into this other one here yet. The polar vortex. Okay. Polar vortex. You might want to be aware of what's coming down the middle of the country, down swooping in from, it looks like Montana and Minnesota, going all the way down to Florida. You're talking about temperatures that are going to be in single digits. And that's just ground cold temperatures. That's not taking into factor wind. If there is wind, then you're going to have a wind chill factor on top of that. And you know that wind chill is deadly, not to mention the cold temperatures in and of themselves can be deadly, especially if you're not ready. But wind chill actually will cause you to freeze very quickly if you're not prepared and you don't have heat and you don't have insulation and you've been exposed for too long. Even if you got warm clothes on, you can still freeze to death. And so what happens if there's power outages for long extended periods and you've got this polar vortex like it happened in Texas? You know, Texans are able to survive a lot, right? Because they're the Lone Star State. They know how to do things, right? They're survivalists. They love guns. But how many people died when that polar vortex went down into Texas? A whole bunch of people. And we tried to warn people 2 days ahead of time because we knew what was coming. We're from the north, and we know what it takes to get through sub-zero temperatures and even negative minus temperatures. We prepare for that. And we knew that people in Texas did not have a clue what was about to hit them. And I was trying to tell people, get your generators, make sure that you have the ability to create fire or have some kind of a heating system that's going to help heat your, a room or two, or know how to survive if it gets down to the sub-zero temperatures. Because if you happen to have a power outage, which is probably what usually accompanies bad weather, and who knows if they're not trying to kill off a bunch of people anyway, so maybe they're going to do a power outage on purpose during this time. I would say you need to learn how to survive when everything goes out. You better have the ability to make a little bit of heat. The best thing you could do is warm up a small little room or a bathroom, or have a little tent that you get into and have a little source of heat. Don't start lighting fires in your house. Don't start, putting generators out near your house, or make sure you have generator safety. You got to understand how generators work. They produce, toxic air that could kill you. I don't know how many times I've heard of people dying from generators because they didn't vent correctly and they vented into the house. You need something that's going to vent outside your house. Your generator needs to be away from your eave of your house if you don't know how to use a generator. And you better have enough fuel for a week at least. You better have some extra fuel. If you don't have an EcoFlow or some kind of battery operated, that you could keep those in the house and they're quiet and they run off of batteries for your lights and everything else. But you don't want to really run electrical heat type devices that are drawing heat because it's a very high amount of voltage and it'll drain your batteries quick if you're happening to use a generator that's based on battery. Now, if you're doing something that has fuel or some kind of a propane type generator or a gas generator, well, then you can have a small little heater or something. But I would say, learn how to use candles. There's ways to use candles. There's a way to make little candle heaters. There's also ways to make little gas stove type heaters that you can use and use a certain type of, not gas, but alcohol type fuel, not gas. Don't X that out. That was wrong. I didn't mean gas. Gas will explode, so be careful with gas. You don't want to bring any kind of gas into your house. But little alcohol fuel burning stoves can be good. There's also ways to make little like toilet paper. You can get like a can and put a whole roll of toilet paper in there and scrunch it in there as best you can, like a paint can. You can go buy those empty paint cans at the hardware store, and you take that cap off and you get the one that can fit a roll of toilet paper. And if it doesn't fit, just scrunch it down or take some off, scrunch it together, stick it in there, and then pour a bunch of. You can pour, I think it's like 90%. Alcohol, you get those alcohol bottles of alcohol. You can get 70%. You don't want to do not the 70%, the 90%. 70% doesn't really light very well. 90% does. And if you pour that whole thing in there, it saturates all of the tissue paper, and then all you do is just light it, and it'll create a flame, and it'll be hot for a long time, a couple hours, and it'll warm a room. It'll warm a room, and it's in a metal can. You just put it in an area where it's not going to be touched because it'll be hot. Just put a little, brick or something. And this is in case you don't have power. This is in case that your power goes out, and this is survival 101. You're going to have to figure out how to stay warm. If you got a little tent kind of set up inside your house, you can go into that tent, and it'll kind of create a body heat, where you get a couple people in there, and it'll create a little room, a little area, a bubble of body heat too. You kind of want to do something like that, but you got to be thinking possible power outages. This is how a lot of people died in Texas. Power was out, temperatures went down to sub-zero temperatures, and on top of that, you got wind. Your house will go down to 20 or 30 degrees. Seriously, you'll have your house down to 20 degrees inside. You could literally be in temperatures inside your house at 20 degrees. On top of that, your pipes might burst. Your pipes end up being frozen because you're not prepared for that kind of weather, and they don't have building codes in southern states for sub-zero temperatures. All of your pipes are going to burst. They're going to freeze, and when they thaw out, they'll break. They'll start leaking. So once that cold goes away, you might have a flooded house on top of that. So you got to understand what goes on with sub-zero temperatures. Rocket stoves are great. Yeah, somebody says a rocket stove is easy to make. Is there trolls in the house? Is that what we're looking at? Buddy heaters are great. I got a buddy heater. You can use propane for a buddy heater, and it is an inside device. You can actually use it inside. Negative 30 in Montana. We had negative 40 degrees here one time with wind chill right around negative 40 to 50. It was that cold. I mean, it was so cold, you could feel the cold coming in through the walls. That's how cold it is. When it gets really down below zero and, below zero, negative, into the negatives, you can literally feel the cold coming through the walls. Even if you got insulated walls, it'll come through. And then if you got wind on top of that, you better be ready for that. You might want to be listening to some Three Dog Night if you get a chance during that cold vortex, because that's exactly what you're going to need. 3 dogs. They say dogs have a very high level of heat in their body, and so if you ever get cold, bring a dog in and let it sleep with you. It'll warm you up. And Three Dog Night was the title, or the name of the band was Three Dog Night, because they were talking about it being so cold that they needed 3 dogs. That's why they call it a 3 Dog Night. It's got too cold. Yeah, it's probably like negative 20, negative 30. They had to have 3 dogs. So anyways, let's look at some of those pictures of this vortex that's coming in. Let me pull up some visuals on this for you. Let's go ahead and look at some of this. What is this one here? Hold on one second here. Let me look at this one here. Oh, I guess I did post this one day ago. Okay, what was this? Let me see what this is here. Oh, I was going to show you that fog machine too.
Strange.
Okay, so here is this. Hold on a minute.
Some form of directed energy to affect
Okay,
physiology
look at this
peripherally.
here. Oops. Sorry about that. Oh, I had put the wrong one there. Okay, here we go. Watch this. Check this out.
Strange fog with chemical smell in the Pacific Northwest. Is your city or state having strange fog?
Well, that was real short. Okay, that wasn't the one I was thinking. Okay, so here is... Let's see if I can find that one with the fog machine. Did you guys see that one with the fog machine? Did I post that? I'm pretty sure I did. I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. There is something very strange about this video that shows fog being produced. Is this the one? Let me see if this is the right one here. Al Gore had predicted. Yeah, here's some of the fog. They're saying strange fog, like this drone went up and went above the fog. But this is not the one I'm thinking of. I wonder what happened to it. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. Well, this is one of them. Okay, so this one was real weird. Okay, so the other day, I posted this 2 days ago. This was posted on December 28th. And this video shows some very strange anomalies off the coast. Okay, so this is off the coast of like Louisiana and Texas. Or in the Gulf there. Okay, that's in the Gulf. Look at what's being produced out there in the Gulf. You see that little, let's see if I can show you here with my, oh gee. Sorry about that. Okay, you can see that right there. You see where my cursor is right there, and right there. But there's two little dots there. That's producing this cloud formation that goes all the way up the East Coast. Look at this. What the heck is this? Watch. It's producing clouds. Okay, so this is a cloud formation, and it's being produced by that little spot right there. It looks like there might be something out there too, but let's just look at that one more time. Yeah, it's being produced right there. So I'm not sure what that is. I have no idea what that could be. But people are saying it's very strange, right? And let's see what else we got here. Let's go back over to our Telegram page really quick. I'm going to pull up some articles that we posted here. Oh, yeah, I did make an announcement. I broke my commitment. I'm so sorry. I said that I'm going to be stepping away from social media for at least a year. I will be back next year. I'm just taking a little break. I'm really thinking about taking a little break here. But after tonight, let's see, after tonight maybe I'll be back in the new year, whenever that is. Oh, wait a minute. That's like tomorrow, right? Oh, shoot. I guess I'm not going to really be gone that long. I thought that was funny. That's my weird humor. Okay, so let's see. This is Market Watch talking about a coming global interest rate collapse that will force the Fed to cut 4 times in 2025, which will affect terribly, awfully, our dollar. Right? Economic pain worldwide will trigger capital flight to U.S. Treasuries, driving down those yields. Investment manager Luis Noveller says the Fed will follow. The Fed can't stop suppressing rates, debasing the dollar, and driving inflation. Prepare accordingly. So get ready for a big hit on the markets. But is Trump really going to do something about it? Maybe this is why he's talking up crypto and talking about crypto being a foundation to our economy in the future, and how this $20 billion of confiscated crypto, in particular Bitcoin, is going to be utilized for our own economy. I mean, $20 billion they confiscated from who? I guess all the criminal activity, because he did say that he didn't like crypto a while back and said it was a bastion of criminals and it was a scam. And now he's saying it's the best thing since sliced bread and talking about it being the foundations of our new economy. Why is that? Is there something wrong with our current economy and our current world status, currency status globally, like the world reserve currency that we supposedly are? Or is the BRICS really taking over? You know, Trump made a couple of posts that were almost sounded angry and critical of the BRICS de-dollarizing. Remember how he made that statement? You better not de-dollarize. If you do, we'll tariff you into non-existence, or whatever. He was threatening them with some kind of, monetary sanction. And so, but there's so many countries now that are jumping on board with the BRICS that it's tipping the balance in the favor of China, Russia, India, South Africa, and what was the other one? Russia. So it's China, Russia, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's what it spells, BRICS. And all these other countries that aren't in the top 5, because these are the main hub nations that are literally bringing about a solidarity of nations now to rival the monopoly that's been had by the U.S. almighty dollar, right? And I call it almighty in quotes because it's really not almighty. And it looks like the dollar is failing. And I think it's going to happen very quickly at a certain point once it starts to fall apart. I think countries around the world are already de-dollarizing in many ways. Russia rejects President-elect Trump's proposed peace deal for Ukraine. Wow. I guess that's not going to happen there, Donald. I guess you're not going to be able to. Now what? Up, ego hurt, to war we go. Oh, you don't cross Donald Trump's ego. You know that, right? There might be some hell to pay now. Now we're going to see a wartime president like never before. From extreme peace and appeasement, holding hands with Kim Jong-un, to now outright overt conflict on a level that we've probably never seen before. Is this possible with the man of peace? The Jews are hailing him as the Prince of Peace. By the way, precatory prayers. I talk about this. Did I curse somebody? No, I didn't curse anybody. I just told everybody what the Bible says and how God does execute vengeance. It's not yours to execute any kind of vengeance, but be careful if you're against someone that's right with God, because God will defend them. Just remember that. This was a very important message. You want to see that guy praying and all of a sudden, bam, a lightning bolt hits the other guy. Okay, be careful. Especially if you're a witch or a warlock or some kind of practitioner of evil arts. You don't want to mess with the child of God. Or you might have a bad day. God might not like it. And that's truly the Most High God. Remember, all the demons would always say, Jesus! They would cry out, have you come to torment us before the time? We are legion. We are legion. And what did Jesus say? Shut up! Come out! And they listened because they know Jesus. And they know other people that know Jesus as well. So they have to listen. We're the ones that tread on scorpions and serpents and over all. How many of you guys out there know Jesus? And you know that he's above all other names. And at the name of Jesus, every knee bows and every tongue confesses that he is Lord to the glory of God the Father. All other powers and principalities are subject to him. I don't care how evil they are. If it's the devil himself, he has to bow the knee to God Almighty. Amen. And you're one of his children. God bless all of the children of the Lord out there. Ukrainian television has issued a warning that shelling of Orchestrated will occur in the coming hours. I like that statement that Putin said, we are going to use our hypersonic missiles today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. That's the way he said it. Today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. You won't be able to stop it. Let me just see. Oh gosh, this is terrible. I didn't mean to post on that. Some of these channels that are right there in Ukraine are pretty graphic. They get lots of graphic footage. I try not to show any of that. The U.S. Treasury says that China hacked its workstations in a cyber attack. Did you see that? The U.S. Treasury Department? Really? This is a government? Is this a government agency? Yeah. Okay, so China's hacking our government? Or is this just little, low-level children that are doing something through their knowledge of the internet? Or is this real government, state-sanctioned and employed hackers? Because if they are, this means what? Go ahead, take everything we got, at least up until the 20th, and then you're going to have Trump saying, I don't like China no more. Remember that video of Trump? All he said was China, 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 China. I love China. Give me my China. I love China. I love China. China, China, China. Remember that video of Trump saying China like a million times? Let's see if we can find that. I'm telling you. Let's see. Let's just look, okay?
Let's say China. 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 You go over to China. 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 You take China. 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 I love them. China. 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 I have to have my China. China. China because China. 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 China now. China. China. You know, China. I know China very well. China. 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 China.
Northwest Wisconsin, where I'm from.
It's China to me. China. China, 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 China. You want to buy from China? That's great. Buy from China. Buy toys from China. China in particular. China. China. I have people that I know in China. 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 China, 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 China. I've been saying China. China, 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 China.
Okay, it goes on for another 3 or 4 minutes. I can't endure that. Any more Chinas. Any more China. We don't want to hear about China. No more. No more China. That's it. We're done. China. China hacked our Treasury Department. China. China, China, China. I wonder if he still loves China now. Underwater sea volcano off the west coast is primed to erupt in 2025, Daily Mail. I guess this is right off of the Washington coast, Washington-Oregon coast, right on the border there. It's called Axial Seamount, and they're saying it's about to erupt. Right there in the middle, right there. Bam. Kaboom. And if that's going to happen, who knows if all these other volcanoes... You know how many volcanoes are in this area? There's a huge amount of volcanoes in this area. maybe it's going to spark a bunch of volcanic activity right here on the West Coast. You know, like Mount St. Helens, you know, when that thing went off. Remember that? That was just a small one, too. Looks like Israel was under attack again today. A bunch of people running. I don't know. From what I understand, some of these missiles came through. Now, these aren't all missiles. I don't know why they do this, but there wasn't that many missiles, at least that I know of, because I don't know if they're censoring video coming out of Israel. I know that they said that it was against the law to take video, but I don't think that many missiles are falling inside of Israel. I think this is just probably sensors that are going off is what I'm thinking as the missiles are coming in. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Let's see. This is the cybersecurity thing, World Health Organization. We got a lot of stuff that you might want to check out here on Telegram. You got to come over here and check it out. I can't play some of this stuff. And then the deeper dive stuff that we do go into in detail, where we think about things, and then we're kind of in a tank. Everybody gets in a little tank and we start thinking. It's called a think tank. And then we pray, and then it becomes prophetic. So we call it the prophetic think tank. Blazing Press Prophetic Think Tank. And you want to be a part of that, come over to our Patreon page, support what we're doing. We're trying to make up for a gap in our corporate sponsors that are now gone, because I kicked them to the curb and I said, we're going to say whatever we want to say, and we're not going to be throttled and or distracted by unnecessary activity. That they actually own you when you take their money. You know how that goes. They own you. Now, I'm not owned by anybody. I'm only owned by the Lord. So we're trusting that God's going to supply all of our needs. So thank you guys for supporting regularly on a regular basis. That's why we got the patrons, because we need a monthly regular support. Thank you guys for all the people that are coming on board right now. It is awesome, but we need to up it a little more, because we're still not making our payments. Trump endorses Johnson. Oh, really? You don't say. Amazing. But isn't he a swamp creature? Yeah. Then why would he endorse him? Don't know. A lot of MAGA people are scratching their heads. That don't make sense. I'm not sure. I like this one by Dana Ashley. She's got some great videos out there. I don't know if you've ever seen her, but she posted this. Elon Musk is not betraying you. People are like, what's going on with Elon? He's turned on our MAGA movement. Well, that's right, because he's dark MAGA. Remember, he's dark Gothic MAGA on top of that, which really is just demonic anyway, right? Elon Musk is not betraying you. He was never your ally to begin with. And the fact that you ever felt any type of camaraderie with him, being a billionaire that he is, who wants to put a chip inside of your brain to make you insane in the membrane, insane in the brain, though, is 100% your own fault. It's your fault that you even believe the lie. And you're going along with it, politically speaking, all the political people out there. And I'm speaking to the political Christians out there who say they're Christians, mostly evangelicals, who are easily duped because they don't think below their Christian cliche that they've received on Sundays. And I know a lot of Christians get mad at me because I just tell it like it is. I'm sorry. You need to get deeper you need to make a deeper dive into your Bible. And actually, you need to make a deeper dive into Jesus, actually. That's really what it's all about. Diving deeper into Jesus, get deeper into who he is, and you won't be deceived. And a lot of this stuff we can't talk about because we'll get a strike. Ananias and Sapphira, there he is. Be careful. Don't be an Ananias, and don't be a Sapphira. How many of you guys remember this? The state funeral for Jimmy Carter. I remember Jimmy Carter. When I was a kid, I remember in school, they would sing a song, and I still remember it to this very day. I was a little kid, and I remember, I think it was probably primary school, and the kids would sing this song, that My Baloney Has a First Name. It's OSCAR. My Baloney has a second name. It's MAYER, right? Remember that? I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me what I'll say. Okay, so they took that song, the kids, and they adapted it because there was so much negativity about Jimmy Carter. And remember, there was gas lines, there was it wasn't hyperinflation. Maybe it was. It was inflation, at least. Things were very expensive. He got us stuck into the problem with the Iranians. Remember, our hostages, and everything was high. Long gas lines. You had, how many of you guys out there are old enough to remember that? Long gas lines. I mean, miles of cars and their big gas guzzling behemoth cars that were just like weighed a ton. These cars that the big muscle cars of the 70s in line waiting for gas for miles. And so I remember I guess they were making these little jingles up, and one of them was about Jimmy Carter. And I remember it went like this, something like this. And it spelled out Jimmy Carter somehow with the song, song of Oscar Mayer, and it said something like, "And Jimmy Carter has a way with screwing up the USA." And I just remember that. I remember that it was a song, and I don't remember all the lyrics, but I just remember that part of it as a kid. You know how like certain things just stick out in your brain when you're older, and you remember little snippets from your childhood. But I remember that. So they're going to have a state funeral for Jimmy Carter. And some people are speculating there's going to be some more notes being passed around during that funeral. Is it going to happen when Trump gets in? Well, he's already actually in. People are already looking at him as the president anyway. He's already trying to make decisions like the president. And our current president is nowhere to be found, really. But this kind of goes along with, if you remember this, how many of you guys remember this when they say, oh, well, Trump was passing out these notes to everybody and telling them that, they were going to die, or they were, because they said, people were saying in the background, George Bush died an unnatural death because he was a criminal, right? And that this note that was being passed around at his funeral was right directly from Trump himself. That was what all the conspiracy theories out there were. And they say they prove it by all the people that got the letter, when they opened up their little funeral thing that had the little funeral insert, there was a note in there and everybody got one, supposedly. How many of you guys remember that? So they're saying, may this be another one of those popcorn moments where we sit back and watch people in shock as the power shifts once again. But watch this. Reminisce. Look at this. This is just so crazy. And there's Jimmy Carter on the right. Jimmy Carter's on the right there. Look at him. He's the only one, they say, that didn't get a note. He said every other president got a note inside of their little folder. So when they read the note, supposedly they just freak out, right? Let's see what this note says. Oh, they don't show it. Okay, this was not the one I thought. Let's see if I can find it, just out of curiosity. Note during Bush funeral, and they said that that what's his name was so upset. Oh my gosh, they were so upset that they freaked out. Oh, they have all the high dignity is there present. Look at this. Here's the notes that are being passed. Let's just see if we can find the notes. I want to see the notes. Okay, where are those notes? Oh, there's Bush Jr. He just passes by Trump. Did you see that? He didn't even look at Trump. Look at that. Look at the way he just passes by Trump. Huh, I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. You're dead to me. Let's look at that again. Oh, he did shake his hand. But on the way back, he didn't even really look at him. Bush did not even look at Trump. Look at that again. And he just kind of like dissed him. Look. This is a total diss. Look at the body language. Look at his body language. He looks past Trump right now as he takes his hand. He looks past Trump. He ignores him. He looks at Melania, kind of ignores her. And now he's like really focused on Obama, and Trump tries to play it off by putting his hand on his back like this is a power play. Okay, I'm really in control here, really. I've got the power body language of putting my hand on top of you. But look at this when he comes back. He acknowledges everybody. Hey, what's up? What's up? Yep. But I don't know you. Hello. Goodbye. All right, so then it goes on. Let's see. Oh, there's a note here. Oh, look at this. Hillary got a note. Hello. What does the note say? What does it say? I don't know. Shocking. What the heck? I'm next? Are you kidding? Who put that in my thing? Now they're all like, look at this note. Look at this note that I got. I got this crazy note inside of my folder here. Where's my note? Do I got a note? Oh, there's the note. What's in the note? My gosh, did you see that? Everybody got one of these crazy notes. Did Dick Cheney get one too? Look at this. They're like in shock. What in the world? What does it say? I want to know. They're just replaying this over and over. Okay, let's see the other notes. Who got another note? Oh, who's this? Oh, is this the betrayer's wife? Oh, there's the note in there for her. Yeah, because they say he betrayed. He was a betrayer. Here's Obama's note. Oh, look we got a note too. Look at Michelle. She's like, oh, I did not just read that. Did I just read that? No, I didn't. I'll pretend like I didn't see it. Obama's like, what is that? It doesn't look very good. But look at this part. This is really crazy. I wanted to see the part where, like, look at George Bush's brother Jeb. Like, I don't know if it's just grief or if he's like shocked at what he saw. Let's see. The Secret Service agent leans over towards George Bush and says, then George Bush gave his note to his wife. She looks at the document and is shocked to see it. What in the world? She's looking at it right now. She hands it to Jeb. George Bush Jr. looks a little bit upset. And then Jeb looks horrified. I don't know. Maybe it's just grief. Maybe people made more of it than... Oh, is that what it says? They know everything. George H.W. Bush. What? Did it really say that? Or is that just something that somebody made up? Did it really say that? They know everything? From darkness to light, the white hats are now in control. Trust the plan. It's all going to be all right. I never knew this. Oh, man. I should have put all my money on Trump. What in the world am I thinking? Boy, maybe I should buy in right now. Bitcoin, should I put my money into Bitcoin now? Because it's going to go up to $1 million, they say. It's it. I'm going to buy those sneakers. I'm going to buy that watch. I'm going to get all those colognes and perfumes. And don't forget the NFT cards, the Nifty cards, because they are like Pokemon cards. Are going to be worth, they're especially the original set, worth millions in the future because they're so messianic. And I'm gonna get rich. But anyways, let's see what else we got here. Terrible plane crash. You guys saw that. Very terrible. The video footage of that is horrendous. I don't know if you saw the video footage. It was terrible. Terrible explosion. The whole thing just hit a brick wall. That plane hit a brick wall going at about 150 miles an hour. And it just, on impact, disintegrated. People were being thrown out the fuselage. I mean, literally, they say, 180 people died? I think 2 people survived. I don't know how they survived. They just got lucky, I guess. Oh, they said they were sitting in the tail section. See, you always say, sit in the tail section, because anytime a plane crashes, the tail is always intact. So anytime you go on a long flight or any kind of flight, for that matter, sit in the tail, because the tail always survives. Everything else is completely destroyed. Tail always intact. Just hold on to the tail and you'll be fine. The least shall be the greatest. Remember that. Make sure you're the tail. Klaus Schwab, good friends with Donald Trump. We love Donald Trump. He is one of us. In his daughter, young global leader, we penetrated all the governments of the world. Klaus Schwab's greatest hits. Vaccine. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I forgot. I'm not supposed to say that. Anywho's, I guess that's about it, guys. Okay, wait. Did I miss something? Okay, there was one more thing I'm supposed to talk about. Let's make sure I get the right thing here. Strange fog, polar vortex, bird flu. Did I say the bird flu? I think I got the bird flu. It's coming. Make sure you're ready. Get some chickens. Do it now. Get your eggs. However you can store them, freeze dry them, do something. Make sure you got eggs because they're going to be gone. They're probably going to take them all. They're probably going to just disappear, just like masks and PPE and everything else in the first round. They're saying second round, much worse. And make sure you got a place you can go if you're caught up in a city. That might not be the best place to be, but people that were more rural had a better experience and were a little more free. Hold on one second here. Okay, so hurricane victims in North Carolina are still being ignored by FEMA. This is pretty sad. Let's watch this really quick, and then we'll go.
You don't see.
Let's take a look at this really quick.
You don't see the government. The FEMA was over there warm in their campers.
I know, we saw
They
them
got
over there.
showers. They got their satellite. They're good. They got name tag, but they do nothing.
Mm-mm.
They do nothing.
And they closed. I went to the mall yesterday. Went to the FEMA office they have set up at the Asheville Mall. Closed at 5:59.
Yeah.
And I said, what about the people who have to work? They have to come after work. And the guy was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, we go on and on about all
the
that.
government right now is. I don't curse, but I'll say it is absolute shit. It is gone, and this right here is what they think of us: trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That it's not just words. You know how back a few weeks ago they were making this big old thing, honey. I'm Puerto Rican, so I didn't take that offensive. When they talk about the trash, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's words, but this is your actions. You're showing us who you really think trash is. Your own country, your own people. You take care of other countries better than you do your own people.
And meanwhile, we've got immigrants that just came in the country that are in $200 a night hotel rooms. And our own people are living in campers.
That's really bad, especially with this polar vortex that's coming down. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you guys the polar vortex maps and what it looks like here. Let's just look at that really quick. Polar vortex. Try to get you guys some good maps here. This is Axios. So this is what it's looking like here. Let's see if I got the right one. I don't have the right one. What did I do with that polar vortex one? Okay, let me go look really quick here on my history here because I had the right one here earlier. Okay, here it is. Okay, so here we go. Yes, it will be cold. Yes, it may snow or be icy. You can quote me on that. It says, okay, so this was, this forecast jet stream across North America for January 9th. This shows a weak polar vortex that will break off into multiple vortices, one that may reach northern New England. Okay, so this is just other things here. Okay, here's the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. So this is from January 6th to the 12th. Okay, so this isn't even for current outbreaks here, but you're looking at below 100% below zero or below normal in this dark area here. And what's weird is that we're above normal because we're actually getting a lot more warmer weather where we're at. Normally we're down in the single digits and we're up at 40 degrees where we're at. So everything east of the Rockies is getting cold weather. And they're below temperatures. They're below their normal averages, which is very strange. But here's the maps on the temperature anomalies. You're talking about negative 13 degrees in Atlanta. Is this negative 20s? Okay, so up here in New York, negative 10. Negative 30s in St. Louis. What? Is it that going to be that cold? I mean, that's like hell of cold. Okay, so it says using Baltimore at BWI for reference. I do believe this product may be too low, but it is still important to highlight this. Temperatures may drop below freezing in central Maryland next week, January 4th, and stay there for 10 to 14 days? Are you kidding me? This would allow many local waterways to ice over. Wow. That's sustained below freezing. Sustained below freezing. That means that it will get so cold that your temperatures, all of your piping is going to freeze up. Try to do some research on how to keep your pipes warm. You might want to go run and get some of that heating tape that you can tape up some of your piping. But if it's not deep enough in the ground, it'll still freeze. This is Central Maryland. They're talking about pretty low temperatures here. Is this Fahrenheit? Yeah, Fahrenheit. Okay. So they're talking about 11, 17 degrees, 14 degrees, 11 degrees in the low 20s on the 30th. Okay, so that starts on the January 3rd is when it starts really getting cold. Yeah, we should do a little video on this specifically. I'll do some more research on this and then put out a video on it. But I just know it's going to get cold. So I don't know the actual times and the dates. So this is saying January 6th to the 14th, the strong positive index. It translates to East Coast cold and stormy. So it looks like the majority of the cold weather is coming in during the 6th, right? There's a negative index. What is that? I know what we can do. Let's do this. Let's go to see what Ryan had to say here. Okay, here we go. This will give her some info.
It's Monday, December 30th, 2020.
Sounds like he's got a cold.
24. It's technically the 365th day of the year. Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope that 2024 was good for you. I hope that 2025 is going to be even better. And I hope that I still have a voice in 2025. Please bear with me as I am a little bit under the weather today. You know who else is under the weather? Literally some rain and some snow up here in Maine. That's going to be exiting about the time that I get finished with this. This is going to be quiet as some cooler air kind of settles in. Turned out to be a full-out snowstorm for somebody. Right now, the GFS is painting the heaviest snow to be in Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin over here.
All right, I'm just going to scroll to the area where he talks about this polar vortex.
Somebody over here is going to be in Snowtown, baby. Now, one thing for sure that I do know is that the lake effect snow is going to be a big problem for us over the next couple of days. That one doesn't really change a lot based off of little differences in the models. You're going to be hearing a lot about this over the next couple of days. Guys, there is a big weather pattern shift coming. There's potentially some major cold on the way. Don't buy into the hype. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be record-setting cold as far as we know so far. All we know is that there's a really good signal that we're going to see a lobe of the polar vortex drop over the eastern half of the U.S. early next week. Wednesday, January 8th, we're going to see a huge increase in our jet stream, and this is just going to allow for an unprecedented amount of cold air, at least within the last year, to kind of just fall down into the central and eastern portions of the United States. And this definitely could bring about some significant cold for millions of people. And another thing that you'll see a lot of too is
so he said, don't believe the hype, but he's not really a meteorologist. I would say it's better to be prepared than not to be prepared, like the people in Texas. But I don't think it's hype. I think it's just prudence. It's when you're talking about these temperatures, they are negative. So they're saying about the 6th to the 8th of January is when this is going to happen. You're talking about temperatures that are in the single digits for an extended period of time, maybe 5-6 days, a week. Some are saying 10 days, but hey, that's still a long period of time to have sub-zero temperatures, or at least below 30 degrees or below 32 degrees. But most of it's going to be down in the 15 to 20 degree weather. That's still very, very cold.
If this actually happens, if the cold dips this far south, it's going to literally, the jet stream's going to dip down into the Gulf of Mexico. And whenever that happens, sometimes we get a very large mid-latitude cyclone and we get a big historic East Coast blizzard. That is a possibility, but there's no way that anybody knows. And anybody on TikTok or anybody that's trying.
I know. No, I don't. I'm just saying, yeah, I don't know how you can predict the weather that far out. We're still, about 6 days out? So really, but I would say better be safe than sorry. Get yourself ready now, because if it comes down to the point where everybody knows that the polar vortex is on its way, you only got a few days. There's nothing really you can do to prepare, because everybody's going to be stampeding to get their stuff in order, okay? And that means to get things to their house, to get whatever, extra fuel. It's kind of like boarding up for a hurricane at the last minute. You're not going to be able to find stuff that you need at Home Depot to board up your house because everybody already did it. Sandbags all gone. Everybody's already hunkering down at that point. So don't wait to the last minute. I would say get stuff that you might need in the future and get it for now. Like things are going to continue to, weather patterns are going to continue to get weird. And I would say just be ready for anything, any disaster.
Trying to tell you that they know for sure that we're going to have a big blizzard. It's just filling you full of it right now, trying to make money off of your ad clicks or whatever. But just do know that we do have a really interesting weather pattern system coming up, and I'm very excited for it. I love snow, but even I, the big weather weenie YouTube weather guy that I am, I'm not going to hype up a snowstorm just yet.
He's not going to hype it up just yet. He's going to want to hype it right before, because he does make a lot of money off of clicks. I'd rather give you a heads up and not put you in a state of complacency. It's better to be safe than sorry, and get yourself ready. So, yeah, Ryan Hall, y'all, it's okay. I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, make sure you get people aware of the real possibility that they could be last minute trying to prep for something that they're not ready for. Just remember Texas. How many people died in Texas? I don't know. It was like, 700-800 people? I know there was a lot of people that died. Does anybody know the number of people that died in Texas when that polar vortex came down? Anybody? I know it was a huge amount of people. A large amount of people. In fact, when the heat wave, remember right after that, not too long after that in the summer, there was a huge heat wave that went up into the Pacific Northwest. It was like 120 degrees up in Vancouver. There were 700 people plus that died. The numbers finally came out like 3 or 4 months later. About 700 people that died from heat related, weather, because of whether they were older or they didn't have air conditioners. Most people in the Pacific Northwest don't have air conditioners. And you had a sustained amount of heat for a long period of time. And some of those days was 120 degrees. People up in the Pacific Northwest don't see the highs in the summer get up to be 90. A lot of people don't even have air conditioners. That's how normally it is. It's below 90 degrees. And 90 degrees normally happens only for a few days out of the year, maybe a week if you're lucky. you get a week of 90-degree weather. But when they had 120 degrees, people's homes got 130 degrees in it was 120 plus degrees even in the house. People were dying. And there was about 700 people that died. Now, I'm not sure how many people died in Texas when that big polar vortex was down there. But like I said, people need to get ready. People should be aware of what's coming. Anybody remember how many people died in Texas? I know there was a whole bunch of them, but I can't remember the number. So I'm looking at some of your guys' comments down there in the comment section. Car batteries do tend to have a lot of problems in cold weather, and they will go out on you, so don't rely on your car batteries. You definitely want to make sure you get some lithium iron phosphate batteries if you can. If you're going to be doing a lot of, go look at, well, by the way, Packing Heat, packingheat.co. Our site, if you look at the little scrolly thing right there, you can get solar generators and be prepared for all kinds of problems and keeping all your lights on and powering up your, appliances and all kinds of things, depending on how big of a unit you get. And as long as you got a little bit of light out there, you can recharge it. But if you got a generator, you can recharge your solar generator too. And then it's quiet. You can bring it in the house. You use it all night and then go back out and recharge it with your gas generator. That way, you've got your batteries always charged up, and those batteries, they hold a good charge, and they can be discharged and recharged some of them up to 7,000 times. That's more than you would probably ever use in your lifetime. So that's if you used it every day, you'd have 7,000 charges and discharges. I'd say get the iron phosphate batteries, the lithium iron phosphate batteries. Those are the best batteries. They're almost foolproof. So you can't really destroy them by doing something wrong. The only thing you can't do is you can't charge them in sub-zero temperatures, below freezing. You don't want to charge lithium iron phosphate batteries in temperatures that are below freezing. Now, you can leave them in freezing weather, but just don't charge them, because when you start to charge them, it causes a chemical reaction inside the battery, which crystallizes it and can destroy the battery. That's the only thing you don't want to do with a lithium iron phosphate battery. Now, other types of batteries that people were using, like deep lead acid or deep cells or the gel batteries. People were using all different types of batteries for solar. Those are real easy to mess up, and you can harm those batteries very simply by doing the wrong thing if you don't know what you're doing. And it's a big waste of money if you don't know what you're doing. But like I said, get a solar generator if you can, especially if you're living in areas that have sun. You'll charge those batteries up real quick if you got some nice solar panels. But go to our channel there, or our store if you do want to get something like that. We can get you guys a deal on those. And also get yourself a little bit of extra food for any kind of disasters. You want to do that as well. Always good to get freeze-dried food, in my opinion, because it tastes the best. It's not dehydrated. Lots more protein, lots more. The enzymes aren't destroyed by the heating process. The vitamins aren't destroyed by that process. It holds its texture and its color and its taste. If you heat and dehydrate things, it tastes terrible. It doesn't taste good. And it might last for 10 or 20 years, but it don't taste good. You want to get freeze-dried food. You don't want to live off of food. If you're getting yourself ready for hard times and you want to stock up on freeze-dried food or on long-term storable food, do not. If you want to eat and have, and you don't want to get sick of your food, and you want to enjoy your food, you better get some freeze-dried food. Okay, I'm just going to give you some good advice, because a lot of these companies that are selling long-term storable food, it's called survival food for a reason. It will keep you from dying, but it will taste like crap, especially the older it gets, if it's dehydrated. If it's a dehydrated food, you can have 100 pounds of this dehydrated food, but you will not want to eat it after a few days. I promise. I mean, yes, if you're hungry, you're going to eat it. Okay. If you're starving, you'll eat it. It's got lots of salts and all kinds of other stuff to preserve it. But the enzymes are destroyed. You're eating like a dead food. It's really not, it doesn't taste good. And whether it's the My Patriot or any of those dehydrated food. Now, I think My Patriot does have freeze-dried, I think. You got to look at it, though. You got to make sure that it's not dehydrated. There's two different types of ways to do food. Make sure you get freeze-dried. Wherever you get your freeze-dried food to stock up on, and we've got it too. We've got some freeze-dried food. If you want to get it from us, you're definitely supporting the channel. Get freeze-dried because it tastes great long term. But this is for disasters, and I think we're headed into a period of time where we're going to be facing disasters. We're going to be facing grid down scenarios. We're going to be facing hacks. I mean, look at the hack that just happened against the government Treasury Department by China. Are we going to see other kind of crazy events? I think we are. Well, when it starts happening, it might be too late to get stuff. You know, you never know how long things are going to last and how things are going to get, how chaotic things will get when things do hit the fan. But in the meantime, guys, I'm going to say goodnight. God bless. People are saying they need more water. Definitely make sure you have a good source of clean, purified water. Get one of those filters. We've got filters too, but you want to get a good water filter. Make sure you have clean water that you can access. And if it's dirty, filter it. You know, if you're near a lake, you got lake water, shoot, fill it up, get some tanks, learn how to pump it into a tank and take it back to your house. Because who knows, if the power goes out, you won't have water being pumped to your home. You got to have water. And if you're in a city, that's the worst place because they call it a concrete jungle for a reason. It's a bad place to be. You want to get out of the city. That's why they have bug out bags. You definitely want to have something to get yourself out of Dodge. If you need to get out of Dodge, learn how to fish, know how to hunt. Make sure you've got a crazy conspiracy uncle that you can go visit out in the boonies, because that might be a safe place to be when it all really does hit the fan. We're talking about some pretty tribulation times that I think are upon us. It may be a lot worse than people expect or think, but you know, I've been telling you it's going to hit the fan, and I think we're getting closer and closer. Snow is water, but don't eat it. Melt it. It makes you thirsty if you just eat it. Okay, good advice, Super Dave. Very good advice. Elizabeth talks about the terracotta planters that you can make your own tea light heaters. Yes, you can. Those are very cool to do. You get go look on YouTube how to build one if you need heat and you're in a place where you don't have the ability to get electricity. Get a terracotta pot. You flip it over. You get another terracotta pot. Put a candle in it. It's called thermal mass, which heats the terracotta, and it creates an energy that it holds. And it holds heat, and then it can actually dissipate that heat over time, and that it's not wasted, you know, the heat from the actual candle. They've also got these candle lanterns you can get that have 3 candles in them, and it actually produces heat as well. Those are kind of cool. But yeah, think about all those things that you can do to prepare. Yeah, don't eat the yellow snow either. Very, very good advice from someone that's up in Canada. Scott knows. He knows not to eat the yellow snow. Yeah, because he lives in the Great White North, and they know when they see yellow snow, you don't eat it. Don't eat it. All right, God bless you guys. All right, the Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you. The Lord be gracious to you and give you peace and shalom in Christ. Amen. You guys go with God, and he goes with you. Walk with him. He'll be the light upon your path. He'll be your hope. He'll be your inspiration, and he will be your salvation. And make sure that you pray your prayers. He will be your vengeance. He will be your justice. He will be everything that you need. You don't need a politician for that, okay? You don't need a government that's going to be your nanny state. You only need God. Amen. And he'll provide for you in every way. Amen. God bless you. I'll see you guys back soon. And but back on the flip side, you guys are crazy. All right, Blazers. God bless. We'll talk to you soon.